Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapataratna. Grab your favorite drink, get a snack, and we'll get started. Today I have red grapes. I rarely get red grapes, but my mother-in-law brought some and they're quite delightful. I do not have a drink. I actually just have water, so hopefully you can have two of your favorite beverages from me. So let's get real. I have been obsessed with puzzles for a very long time. I've done several podcasts on puzzling. Like, it kind of has become a lifestyle, which seems very bizarre. But I got this puzzle once I was speaking at a church and talking about how much, life is a puzzle and I love puzzling and all these things. And they sent me this puzzle. Now, I love a challenge. In fact, my favorite part of the puzzle is all the blue at the top that look identical, and I always try to get that done first. It is something that I really enjoy. So I was like, I can totally do this puzzle. And it was a all white toilet paper puzzle. All white toilet paper. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to get it all together. So the way I do a puzzle is I always take out all the edge pieces and I put the edges together and then I flip over all the pieces. Now, I have the luxury that my husband spoils me. Like, completely is like the things that I don't like to do, he does for me. And it is just phenomenal. And so he will flip over all the other pieces for me because it's my least favorite thing to do in a puzzle. I'm guessing it's your least favorite thing to do too, is to flip over all the puzzle pieces. So I will then flip over all the other puzzle pieces, or Kevin will, and then I put the frame together and then we go from there. But I've kind of gotten to the point that I got these like little sorting boxes, and so I will sort things by color or by pattern or whatever I've decided at that time. So I just finished a puzzle yesterday that was donuts and all different kinds of donuts, and I had all of the different colors organized, and it was just beautiful. It was just, even before the puzzle was done, I was like, this is just peaceful and wonderful. But I'm dealing with this white puzzle, and I decided, okay, what I'm going to do, because there's no sorting of colors here, is I'm going to take all the white pieces and then all the kind of like gray pieces and separate them out. And so I haven't even put the frame together, but I'm just going to organize the two, all white, a little bit of gray, and then I've got my corner pieces. And I spent, I don't know, it felt like decades. It maybe wasn't decades. I'm guessing because it's a 2020 puzzle. But I was like, this is time in my life, and it was very frustrating. So I got everything organized. All the white pieces are here. All the semi-gray pieces are here. So when you looked at the white, there was not a speck of anything but white. And as I'm doing the puzzle, I realize that all the puzzle pieces are almost identical. Like, sometimes you have like 3 notches or 1 notch, or, what I'm saying with puzzles, I don't even know if that's like the technical term to it. That's what I call them. So, but these were 2 notches and 2 holes, 2 notches, 2 holes, and they're all exactly the same size and pattern. And I was like, okay, Jenny, don't freak out. We can totally do this. And as I'm putting the frame together, I realize I cannot even get the frame together. Like, I worked on this for a really long time, and it was really very stressful. So if you would like a puzzle that is super challenging, I will send this to you. You just contact me, go on to one of my social medias and say, I want the puzzle, and I will send it to you, because I put it back in the box. I was like, Jenny does not need this stress. Like, I could not even believe how overwhelmed I was, because it was just absolutely, and I love that kind of challenge. Like, when I get one of those winter puzzles that are like all white with like little textures here and there, those are super fun for me. I actually really love those. For some reason, this puzzle, like, I thought my brain is going to explode. I couldn't even get the frame together, and I just wanted to burst into tears. So then I switched, obviously, to new puzzles. And yesterday I finished the donut puzzle. I just lost my brain. But my donut puzzle. And I will tell you, God has been really like speaking to me while I'm doing puzzles. And I wanted to come to you and kind of talk about it because there are moments in our lives that they look like the puzzle, right? I've talked about this before, but I feel for some reason I'm supposed to share it again. There are moments that you have that white puzzle. And no matter how much organizing you do, and no matter how much you have a game plan, things are just not coming together. Like there is this nothing you can do in your life, in whatever circumstances you're dealing with, to make this work. It's just not working. I mean, whether it is something at your job or with your family or with your finances or someplace you're volunteering, like you've done everything you know how to do to make this work and things are just not coming together. And I am here to give you permission to go before the Lord and say, can I put this back in the box? Like, is it okay for me to go, this is just not working and I have to just give this to you, Lord, because I need to put this back in the box. And that was very humbling for me. I don't like to not finish a challenge. I'm a finisher. Like, I like to complete things, even though they may not get completed 100%. Like, there have been times with the puzzle that I'm like, if I pound this piece in enough, it will work. I mean, it's just got it, right? And that I had to put away. And there are just seasons in our life that no matter how much work you've put into something, it's just not going to come together. And it's okay to say, you know what? This is not a failure. This is a learning moment. I do not ever want to see another toilet paper puzzle in my life. And that's a learning moment for me. It was a learning moment for me to understand that the Lord is not disappointed in me when I have to step away from something that I've put a lot of time and effort into and it's just not falling together. And he's like, but Jenny, it's okay. You've learned something, move on. It's okay. And so I'm giving you that permission, which is kind of hard to do sometimes. There are just times in your life that you're like, but I gotta finish. Like, I don't want anybody to think I'm failing at this. You're not failing. It's okay to step back and go, you know what? School's not for me. You've gone to college and you're like, you know what? I think I'd be much better at something else. And it's like those Hallmark movies, where they're like all of a sudden like, I have been working and working and working to get that promotion. I got the promotion and now all of a sudden I want to run an Airbnb. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you open one, let me know because I'd love to come and try out your B&B or your Airbnb. Anyway, that's the side note. But there are other times when you're doing a puzzle and things are just falling into place, like that donut puzzle. And all the colors are there and you just pick up a piece and you're just like, wow, I know exactly where everything's going. And like things are just snapping into place. And all of a sudden you finish the puzzle and you're like, I'm very emotional for some reason. I get like super emotional and I cry over everything. I did like maybe a tear fell out of my eye. I was very sad when this puzzle was over because I was like, now the part of tearing it up and putting it back in the box can be kind of heartbreaking. It can be like when you're passing something off to somebody. I remember when I was volunteering at church and I was in charge of the girls ministry and I absolutely loved it. It was one of the best times and seasons in my life. I just absolutely adored it. I adored my leaders. I adored the girls. I adored everything I was doing. It was just so fulfilling. And God was like, it's time to put it down. And it's time to pass it on to someone else. And I didn't have anybody else to pass it on to. And it was heartbreaking because I felt like I was crumbling up a beautiful puzzle that I'd put together and putting it back in the box and trusting that the next person would know how to put it back together. And they have, and it's been great. But it's really a humbling place that you're not always the one to hang the puzzle on the wall, right? I know a lot of puzzlers and some people like glue all their puzzles and put them on the wall. I don't have time for that. I don't have space for that. I barely have space for all the puzzles I have because I love them and I don't want to get rid of them. Like when I've done them and it's been a good experience, I'm like, I don't want anyone else to have this. But I'm trying to give them away. It's okay, Jenny. But that's a season in your life and you're looking at this full puzzle piece and you're like, I know it's time for me to put it back in the box and pass it on to somebody else, and you just don't want to. And I'm here to say it's okay. It's okay to mourn that process was really fun, and the process of what you've kind of built and done is okay to pass on to someone else and trust that they'll probably do the puzzle upside down, and you're like, what are they doing? And super frustrated with them, and you're like, that was a super easy puzzle, and they're like, this is really difficult. You have to let it go and know that your time is done with it, and that's hard. And then there's one other season. There's a season of you open up the puzzle and you pour out all the pieces, which I never do because I don't like this kind of chaos. But you have all the puzzle pieces. They're half of them are dog chewed because your dog got a hold of them. That's my dog. And the other half your daughter has stolen because she loves to steal the last piece. That's something she's always wanted to do, and she does it every time. Not as much anymore, but when she was little. And you're sitting there and it's puzzle pieces all over the place, corner pieces, regular pieces, and they're all piled up. Nothing's flat. It just looks like complete chaos. And that may be the season that you're in. That you're like, I'm sure all the puzzle pieces are maybe here. Someone didn't steal them, but this makes no sense. Like, I know that there's a big picture that God has for me, but I'm looking at this mess and this is not anything. Right? You've been there in your life. You've been in the place that you're like, Lord, I know you've got a plan because it says in the Bible that you have a plan for my life. It says it many times. Jenny keeps saying it, but I'm looking at my puzzle pieces and I'm not even sure they're all from the same puzzle. Like, I think there are strawberry shortcake pieces in here with my Rainbow Bright. Like, yes, I do have those puzzles. Anyway. Not strawberry shortcake, but I do have Rainbow Bright. Anyway, this is not right. And you're looking going, this makes no sense. And you have to step back and go, okay, I'm back in that season. And how am I going to move forward? How am I going to build this puzzle? And that is going back to the Word and going back to God and saying, God, you've got the plan. I've got the mess. Like, I need you to help me figure this out because I do not have a plan for this chaos. I do not have a plan for what's going on. I don't know where to even start. It can feel really overwhelming in that time. And I just want to encourage you that God does have that plan for you and that He can help you make sense of the chaos. And He can be peace in that chaos. So no matter which one of those 3 seasons you're in, I just pray that the key there is going before the Lord and saying, hey, Lord, do you see this puzzle? I really can't make sense of it. Can I let it go? Or, Lord, I can't make sense of it. What's your plan? Lord, this is fully completed and it was so fun and I want to do it again. Will you let me do it again? Or am I supposed to give it to somebody else? What's your season? What is God calling you to do with the puzzle that we call life? And the puzzle that we call stepping into His plan and what He's got for you in your relationships, in your workplace, in your ways of volunteering at church, in your finances. All of those things are puzzles that God has a plan for, and you may be in a different season in every one of those, and I just encourage you to bring it before the Lord. Well, that's all I have for you this week. You can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram, Facebook, and Be Real. You can also find me at christconnection.cc/Jen. Please subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends. You have people in your life that really need some encouragement. Share this with them. It's not that long, right? But share it with them and let them know that they're not alone in this journey. Have a conversation with them and say, hey, what puzzle are you dealing with right now? Are you dealing with the chaotic puzzle that you want to put back in the box and never see again and step away from? Are you dealing with the puzzle that's complete and that you don't want to give away because it was so fun, but God's like, hey, it's time to give it away? Or are you dealing with the complete chaos of a brand new puzzle and going, Lord, you've got to have a plan for this because I do not understand how this is going to work? Step in with them and walk on the journey with them like the Lord does with you. You all have a great week.